Okay, so we've covered what an emergency fund is and why it matters. But now comes the question I know everybody wants to ask. How much do I actually need to save? This is where most people get stuck because they either think they need thousands of dollars right away or they feel like it might be too late to start. This next section is here to tell you you don't have to be perfect, you just have to start. Whether you're living paycheck to paycheck or you have some breathing room, this part is all about figuring out your number, building a plan around your real life, and showing you how to get there bit by bit. We'll talk about how to calculate a goal that actually fits your lifestyle, what those 3 to 6 month emergency fund rules really mean, and how even saving $100 at a time can be a huge win. Let's jump in. Okay, so that big question of how much do I need? How much do I actually need to save? Here's the key. Don't guess. Calculate it out. Calculate your needs. You wouldn't guess how much rent you owe or how many groceries to buy, so why guess your emergency fund number? If your life hasn't changed much since last year, you can start there. Think back. What kinds of unexpected expenses hit you last year? In this example, we'll look over a little scenario here. So maybe you had a car repair for $1,000, and you had a home repair for $500, and you had a medical bill for $300. That's already $1,800 in emergency expenses. And remember, emergencies don't always come one at a time. They can come in waves. So if that happened last year, there's a good chance that something similar or worse could happen again. So let's just say, for simple sake, let's say last year it cost you around $2,000 to $3,000 in total emergency expenses. That number right there would be your starting point. If you had $3,000 set aside, you could have covered it all without stress or debt. So when we ask, how much do I need? We're not just picking numbers out of thin air. We're looking at our own real history and preparing for what's likely, not just what's possible. Okay, now let's zoom out for a second and talk about a classic rule of thumb. The rule of thumb is save 3 to 6 months worth of essential expenses. So these are your expenses of everyday stuff, like rent and food and different bills that you can predict. So on the right side here, we just have a little example. Say you have rent is $850, and then you have groceries is $300, and then say your internet bill is massive at $150, which you don't need it that big, but there are many cheaper options. And you have something else that is predictable for $200. This would put you at $1,500 for 1 month. So if we want to multiply that for 3 months, we get 1,500 times 3, which equals $4,500. Do the same for 6 months, and this equals $9,000. Now, I know that might sound like a huge number, but don't panic because this is a goal. It's not a requirement for you to complete overnight. Like maybe right now you only have $150 in savings. Great. That's your starting line. The finish line might be $4,500 or more. But you don't run a whole marathon in one step. You just take the next step. Really, that's how savings work. Quietly, steadily, behind the scenes. I had a friend once who said they started saving just $25 every payday. A year later, they were at $1,300. Sure, it's not flashy in the beginning, but it's powerful at the end. So, whether you make $800 a month or $8,000 a month, your emergency fund is your safety net based on your needs. 3 to 6 months gives you time to recover from a job loss, a medical leave, or some other kind of family emergency or just really any financial emergency. The 3 to 6 month rule is very effective. Okay, so this might be the most important slide in the whole deck because most people give up on saving before they even start. But you need to start small sometimes and think big as well. People can hear $4,500 or $9,000 and think, forget it. I can't get there. But here's the truth. It's okay to start with $100 or start with $20. Reaching $500 is a huge win. Getting to $1,000, that can be life-changing. Look at this savings ladder. It starts at almost zero in January, and then it moves to 500 by April, and then 1,000 by July, and maybe things in your life have changed and you can get up to 3,000 by September. This is what progress looks like, not perfection. If you save $100 a month, that's $1,200 in a year. If you save $50 a month, that's $600 in a year. The point of this is that you're moving forward. You're building momentum. Think of it like pushing a snowball downhill. At first, it is hard. It needs to grow. It starts very small, but eventually it gets big enough. It starts to roll, it picks up speed, it grows even more. That's what saving feels like. The first $100 is tough. It's difficult to start, but the next one is easier. And before you know it, you're there. So don't wait for perfection. Don't wait until you're making more. Just start. Start with anything, because $100 today can save you from a $1,000 problem tomorrow. Okay, so now we have another talk it over moment, big pause moment. It's the same thing. If you're in a classroom, you have stuff to do, and if you're watching online, you have stuff to do. So if you're in the classroom, have what we're calling the breakout budget talk. Get together with maybe a partner or 3, 4 people, however many you think, and talk about how much you spend each month on essentials. Then use a calculator or write on paper to calculate in 3 to 6 months how much your expenses would be. Also, share your target number with a partner. How realistic does it feel to you right now? What could make it more achievable? Now, if you're watching online, you got what we're calling the quick calculation time. List your 5 biggest monthly costs, add them up to get your monthly expenses, and then multiply by 3 and 6 to get your emergency savings goal range. As well, make sure to write it down so you don't forget it. Write down my emergency fund goal is $1 to $2. So do this, and then we'll catch you on the next module.